My name is JJ Vulopas. Like nearly 15 million Americans, I was born with a life-threatening food allergy, specifically milk.
But I learned at a very young age to define my food and my life, not by what I couldn't eat, but by what I could.
I lived in a place that was bursting with excellent culinary traditions. I fell in love with food. When traveling, they say that the best way to get to know a place is through its food. Now, I'm not gonna be able to do that with anything that Bessie here has to offer. But even so, I'm not gonna let something like a food allergy hold me back from that. And you shouldn't either. On each episode, we will visit a new city and challenge chefs to make dishes that are true to their style and city, all while accommodating a different food allergy. On this episode, the allergy challenge is dairy. This is EatABLE.
This is Pennsylvania Dutch country. Farms and rolling hills. Fields of grains and vegetables as far as the eye can see. And cows. Lots of them. More than 100,000 to be exact. That makes Lancaster County the top dairy producer in the state and the 8th in the nation. It's a land of cheese, butter, and milk. I grew up here, and I've never tasted any of it. Inspired by the farm-to-table movement, Chef Taylor Mason and his restaurants Maison and Luca have pushed local cuisine in bold new directions, and the culinary world has taken notice. Now, I'm a food lover, but I'm no expert. She is. Professional chef and recipe developer Julie Hartigan is joining us today at Maison. Chef Taylor is going to show us some exciting and delicious things that we could do with food grown right here in Lancaster County.
Yep, you ready to have a great meal, JJ? We're gonna have such a good time today.
Let's do it.
Awesome, let's do it.
Hi, Chef Taylor.
What's happening, guys?
Hello.
Great to see you. So I've put together a couple things today that I think are going to satisfy these flavors you've been longing for, but also provide some interesting textures and richness and good stuff that you've potentially, unfortunately, been missing out on. So the first one, you mentioned that you're of Italian and Greek heritage, yet you've unfortunately been able to enjoy a lot of the culinary delights that those cultures have to offer. Make it kind of a riff on a Greek salad for you. We took a preparation of tofu, pressed all the liquid out, and essentially cured it like feta. So salt, vinegar, lemon juice, lots of fresh herbs, oregano, parsley. And so we let it brine for a couple days. So a very simple summer salad. We have some mixed cherry tomatoes. There's watercress and escarole, provide a little structure and a little bit of bite. We have some smoked tomato. We usually make a bunch of different condiments with tomatoes throughout the year. So some torn olives, and then some of the brine that we used for the feta. So lemon juice, a touch of shaved garlic, oregano, a little bit of olive oil, and some finishing salt.
Every time I have salad, I've never really had Greek salad. I have to just stick to, let's just keep it with greens, let's keep it with veggies. And you know, feta's especially difficult, being of Greek heritage. I can't tell you how many times I would go to church and Greek grandmothers would just slap me up the back of the head for not putting feta on my salad. I just have leafy greens. So, you know.
You missed out on all that deliciousness. Yeah. It's cool. Like a lot of chefs are playing with using tofu in different ways because tofu just takes on the flavor of whatever you put it in, and it can have different textures.
In theory, you'll have this, crumbled texture that is traditional of feta, but all this little bit of salt punch and that briny quality that I think really truly makes it. There's so much more integrity to food when it's just simply prepared. But without further ado, let's see what we got working here.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Oh man, talk about integrity.
Beautiful. Look at that.
This meal looks absolutely gorgeous, this salad. It's also, for me, horrifying. You know, I'm used to seeing this and having to recoil and having to say, no, I cannot do that. So this is kind of surreal for me. All right, shall we dig in?
Yes, I can't wait. I'm dying to try this.
All right. Oh no.
That is so delicious, Chef.
Wonderful.
Excellent use of oregano and bright lemon, and these are all really classic Greek flavors that would go in a salad like this. And again, like if you can see even how crumbly the pressed tofu got, just like a feta cheese would do that. So it's giving you all of those same flavors and textures and kind of the garnish to the dish. I mean, a Greek salad without feta. I'm so thrilled that you get to try this.
It's an interesting point because we're talking about, substituting things, or not necessarily substituting, getting things that serve similar purposes, but like you said, we want to maintain the integrity of the dish. So often I go to a restaurant, they're gonna do what's safe, which is good. They're gonna slab a piece of chicken, they're gonna slab some greens on the side, and it's going to be, as a meal, but it doesn't feel complete.
It's unfortunate that sort of the food service world has steered away so far from wanting to cater to individuals like yourself, because it's just about being thoughtful and taking some correct measures to ensure that you're not only going to enjoy the flavors on the plate, but it'll be safe to eat it. For the other large plate we're going to have tonight, I made a risotto for you. Partially because I think that the richness, creaminess, unctuous quality of a well-made risotto is something that most likely always has dairy involved, but also that undoubtedly you've probably missed out on before. I wanted to create something that surely would not skimp on all the attributes that dairy contributes to a dish. So corn was my go-to, and for this dish, to create that depth, that texture and richness and viscosity. For this example, we've started the risotto with olive oil, a little bit of minced onion, toasted the rice in the oil, white wine, then began cooking the rice with chicken stock that we fortified with corn cobs. There's so much starch, sugar, sweetness, all this depth of flavor in the cobs after we shave the corn off. So we have this rich corn chicken stock.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, you're using Lancaster's most proud export corn to replicate. Wow.
So trying to bring some more, geographical relevance here, which is corn and dairy, right?
Who'd have thought?
Clever chef, so clever. And what's cool is how Chef Taylor's using, as you said, one ingredient in so many different ways, and it's giving you both the texture and the flavor and the sweetness, because dairy also has a sweet component to it that it adds to dishes. So what's cool, corn also has like an inherent sweetness, especially when it's farm fresh and in season and grown here. So
you nailed it, and that little pop that you'll get from the corn kernels went in the very last second, so they've been heated by the residual heat from the risotto, but still maintain that pop, that brightness. So texturally, you've got all the things you're looking for in a traditional risotto. We've got layers of flavor that we've included throughout the process. And then this wonderful touch of truffle-y quality. Truffle and corn are best friends. Truffle and dairy are best friends.
this is beautiful.
So get in there with the aromatics, really get your nose in there, smell. You smell the heat has already lifted that essential oil off the truffle and begin to activate the aromatics.
This plate is beautiful. Yeah.
Cheers. Oh man.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it's really good.
He's blushing. Look at him.
It is. No, I'm gonna eat some myself right now. It's great.
This is delicious.
I've never before had a meal that not only has that, like you're saying, this creamy texture, whatever that mouthfeel was, which I've never experienced that before. But when I have had it, it's always felt like it's obvious that this is a synthetic dish. This is a fake. This is a fake dish.
Right.
This is not a fake dish.
Yeah.
Right.
At least, and to me, in my limited knowledge, this is a complete meal.
As I understand, desserts will probably be very difficult for you. So we made one special arrangement to kind of conclude our meal today. And I brought in a great friend of mine, Kristen, who is a pastry chef in town. And she worked on a special cake for you today.
Hi, JJ. So I made you, with your Mediterranean background, I made you a lemon olive oil cake, where instead of butter and milk being the fat, olive oil is a great substitute for people who can't have dairy.
Meals at restaurants being kind of prohibited for me is one thing, but desserts have always been completely out of the ballpark. Even at home, finding a dessert that we can make that safe. That looks delicious. Does that look spongy?
Yeah, do you see how dense that is? It's like, instead of using in traditional cakes, you would have butter, you might have some milk in the cake. What's happening there, the olive oil is giving it that incredible density and moistness.
So this is a coconut caramel sauce. So instead of using heavy cream and butter to make the caramel, I just use some coconut milk and coconut oil in replace of the heavy cream. And there's some nutmeg and cinnamon in there just to kind of balance out between the lemon, give it a little spice as well.
And the olive oil is true to the Greek heritage. There we go. All right.
Thank you. Really, really incredible. And I love what you did with the caramel glaze too. It's delicious. And what's really cool, you can use coconut milk and the flavor of coconut won't even come through. It's just a way to add richness to a sauce and then add other flavors to carry it forward. So adding this kind of a drizzle, a traditional caramel would have heavy cream, butter, things like that in it, and using coconut milk was just so clever.
I've never had a dessert like this. Never. It's real. This is awesome. Chef Taylor, I thank you so much for bringing us out here, for making this for us, for making a dish that I never thought I would be able to eat, and I can eat it. And for being so gracious and for hosting.
Yeah, it was fun.
So
Absolutely, it was great to have you
wonderful.
guys.
Great job, chef. Seriously, such creative use of ingredients and seasonal bounty and staying true to your cooking style
Sure.
while still working with JJ's dairy-free restriction, but making it celebratory and delicious and indulgent. And really, you did such a creative, wonderful
Awesome.
job. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think we've found something here that we can even run with on our side. So it was fun.
Anybody with a food allergy will understand. Going out to eat is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Right, because I mean, beyond the ingredients of the meal being safe, cross-contamination is also a huge concern. How it's prepared in the kitchen, I'm just as much a goner, right?
Yeah, and perhaps I think that's sort of an opportunity for the industry to answer this, tremendously emerging demographic of people that unfortunately have food allergies or dietary restrictions. There's some beauty involved in when we have guests like JJ who unfortunately can't enjoy a lot of the things that everybody else does, and perhaps we take them for granted. But it's about this being able to take the time and consideration to prepare a thorough, safe, but absolutely delicious meal for him, because I understand that he hasn't had that opportunity all the time or often. So it's a beautiful thing for us. It's not difficult to do, and I always enjoy being able to cater to people who have dietary restrictions or allergens, because frankly, it's all about equal opportunity eating, right?
We'd like to thank Chef Taylor Mason, Chef Kristen Richards, and Chef Julie Hardigan for helping us out today. We're excited to continue our journey across the nation to see what else we can eat. See you next time.